today my group members and me wanna talk to you guys about our little project, Gaming with Physics. We are exploring practical application in everyday life. We choose bowling and we are from Group G and our lecturer is Dr. Lilia Elani Mohtar. So this is our group members. First is Adis Ayuni binti Anwar. Second, Dania Inshira binti Zulkifli. And third is Nur Afika Akilah binti Syahrul Nizam.
Hi, my name is Anis Ayuni binti Anwar. So I will start with introductions. Bowling is a popular sport in which players throw a heavy ball along a lane to knock down pins positioned at the end of the lane. The movement of the bowling ball depends on several physical factors such as the force applied by the player, the release angle, velocity, acceleration and the momentum generated during motion. These factors ultimately determine the effectiveness of the ball in striking the pins. Therefore, this study was conducted to analyze the motion of a bowling ball and investigate the relationship between mechanics principle and bowling performance.
Hi, my name is Dania Inshira binti Zulkifli. Today I will talk about the objective of this project. The first objective of this project was to analyze the motion of a bowling ball using tracker video analysis software. The second objective was to determine several important physical quantities such as velocity, acceleration, angle, momentum, force and kinetic energy. These quantities help us understand how the bowling ball behaves during motion and how its movement affect the outcome of the game. Our third objective was to investigate the relationship between these physical quantities and bowling performance. Finally, we wanted to demonstrate how theoretical mechanics concept learned in class can be applied to a real-life sporting activity. Through this project, we hope to bridge the gap between theoretical and practical application.
For the project design, we recorded the video from a side view using a tripod to ensure stability and reduce tracking error. A calibration stick was included to provide an accurate scale in the tracker software. The independent variables were ball weight and launch angle, while the dependent variables were initial velocity, momentum, and impact effectiveness. The lane surface and distance to the pins were kept constant as control variable. Our hypothesis is that a higher initial velocity and an optimal launch angle will create greater momentum, resulting in a more effective transfer of kinetic energy to the pins.
So next is methodology. We have two things, which is apparatus and procedure. So for the apparatus, we have size 9 bowling ball, which is 4.082 kg, smartphone camera, bowling lane, measuring tape, computer and tracker software. So for the procedure, firstly, a bowling throw was recorded using a smartphone camera. The camera was positioned perpendicular to the motion of the bowling ball. The recorded video was imported into tracker software. So a non-distance was used to calibrate the video scale. A point nest was attached to the bowling ball in tracker. The bowling ball was tracked frame by frame. So the velocity, acceleration and the angle data were obtained from the tracker, while momentum, force and kinetic energy were calculated using the collected data, and lastly the results were analyzed and interpreted.
Okay, now we're gonna talk about result and data collection. Based on the data obtained from the tracker software, the bowling ball traveled with a relatively stable velocity throughout most of its motion. The analysis also showed that the greater acceleration produced greater force, which is consistent with Newton's second law of motion. As velocity increased, momentum also increased because momentum is directly proportional to velocity. Similarly, kinetic energy increased significantly with velocity because kinetic energy depends on the square of velocity. This means that even a small increase in velocity can result in a much larger increase in kinetic energy. As a result, the bowling ball was able to transfer more energy during impact knockdown the pins more effectively. Overall, our results support the mechanic principles studied in class.
Next, this slide shows the sample calculation for our bowling ball project. Using the formulas for momentum, force and kinetic energy, we obtain values of 8.86 kg meter per second for momentum, 26.04 Newton for force and 9.61 Joule for kinetic energy. These calculations helps us understand how the different parameters are connected. When a greater force is applied to the bowling ball, it produces a higher acceleration. As acceleration increases, the velocity of the ball also increases. Since momentum and kinetic energy depend on velocity, both values increase as the ball moves faster. This means the bowling ball will hit this pin with a stronger impact. In summary, force, acceleration, velocity, momentum, and kinetic energy are directly related. Increasing the force leads to better bowling performance because it generates a stronger impact on the pins.
So next is about expert review. So from the two experts that we interview, we get that firstly, to get higher strike probability, an entry angle of 4 to 6 creates a better change reaction between pin to maximize pin carry and achieve a strike than a straight zero angle. So secondly, to knock down all 10 pins, need to using a heavier balls than the lighter balls because it get deflected easily when hit the first pin. So maybe we can use 9 to 12 bowling ball. And for the improvement, after the advice we get, we went back to our tracker software to measure the entry angle of the ball. This made the data much more accurate and helped us understand the physics of bowling better.
Okay, for now we're gonna talk about reflection. First reflection, from this project, we gain a deeper understanding of how mechanic concept can be applied in real life situation. Before conducting this analysis, concepts such as momentum, kinetic energy, and force were mainly understood through equation and classroom example. However, by using tracker software, we were able to visualize and analyze this concept throughout the actual motion of a bowling ball. For example, we observe how the velocity of the ball influences its momentum and kinetic energy, and how these quantities affected the impact on the bowling pins. This experience also helped us to understand that physics is not just a collection of formulas, but a useful tool for explaining the real world phenomena. In addition, we also can improve our skill in data collection, video analysis, and scientific interpretation. So for once, the equation in our notes actually can come out of the book and start rolling down on a bowling lane. So for the second reflection is real world application. This project also demonstrated how physics knowledge can be applied to improve performance in sport. So for instance, understanding the relationship between mass, velocity and momentum can help players select a suitable bowling ball according to their physical strength and playing style. Similarly, knowledge about entry angle and energy transfer can help bowlers improve their throwing technique and increase their chance of achieving a strike. Beyond bowling, this same mechanic principle can also be applied to many other sports such as football, badminton, golf, netball, and many more. Therefore, this project shows us that physics can also play an important role in everyday life and can be used to make practical decisions and improve performance.
In conclusion, bowling is more than just a game. It is a practical application of physics in action. Throughout this project, we have seen how concepts such as force, acceleration, velocity, momentum, and kinetic energy work together to influence the movement of bowling ball and its impacts on the pitch. By understanding and applying the principle of momentum and energy transfer, players can improve their performance and technique more effectively. This physics concept helps explain why certain throws are more powerful and successful than others. Therefore, physics does not explain on how the game works. It also provides a valuable insights that can be used to improve performance. Thank you for listening from us.